Okay, we're going to do maybe an hour or so. Give me a second here to get my mic activated. And we'll wait for the Amazon to kick on. And what I thought we would do, as I wait for Amazon to activate, there we go. Okay. So, I thought that we would look at the Yolobox Mini. And give me a second to get combobulated here. I was going to do something else today, but it turned out to be a dud. This was a Nebula Android TV box. NC Strev is here. Hello there. Yeah, so we looked at the Pro version of this a couple of weeks ago, which was okay, but I think for the price point, I felt like it was not, I don't know, I have my reservations about it. I'm going to wait for them to do a few firmware updates on the other one. This one is their comparatively least expensive box. It's still $700, but it, I think, might hit the sweet spot for something like this, but we'll take a look for sure. This is a production device, so this would kind of take the place of OBS, for example. This may have more utility as a monitor versus a live switcher because it only has 2 inputs, but it might be useful there. Crispy is here. Hello there. So, yeah, so I'll add about an hour here to kind of futz around a bit. So I thought I would pop on and we'll get this thing activated and see what it's all about. So here is the unit itself. Now this is running Android, but it is kind of a custom, I don't say a custom version of it, but it's something that they have designed specifically as a video streamer. And it can take up to 1080p. And like the other one, it doesn't come with a power adapter. And I wonder if we're going to have the same. In fact, they didn't even include a power cord for me in here. All right, well, we'll have to rectify that situation. Let's see. Then there's supposed to be a little hot shoe mount in here also. This was a pre-release version that they sent to me, free of charge, incidentally, in full disclosure. This might be a quick video if it doesn't have USB-C power. Okay, this might suffer from the same problem as the Pro version did. We'll find out when I plug in this cord, and we'll see what happens here. And I'm also going to grab my Ethernet because I want to connect it to my network with Ethernet. So let me grab that and bring it over. But I think it'll be actually less complex than the other one because it does a lot less. So that is perhaps one of the advantages here, is that there's less complexity. All right. Well, the good news is that it appears to be charging off of the USB-C cable, unlike the other one, which needed like a specific type of power. So that's a good sign. Yeah, it is charging. And let's fire her up here and see what we get. And I didn't say hello to Crispy, even though I put your thing up there. I am doing well. And we also have Nethead here. Professor D is here. Sup, y'all? And the, yeah, no power, right? You get the box for the power, but there is no power. I suspect that this is like a pre-release one, so that's why I didn't get the power in the box. All right. And I've got some Chinese here. So your guess is as good as mine on this one. Please log in. Okay, let me hit the language here. Maybe I can put it, here it is, language, English. Okay, there we go. And I think I'm going to turn the display brightness up here because it's a little on the low side. I don't know if it's got some kind of, all right, sign into live or monitor mode. All right, so let me sign in here. I'm not sure how to make the display. Here's brightness. There we go. Okay, so let me get, and Rome Wilkerson is here. I was thinking about getting Yolobox Pro for my live stream here in my client projects. Yeah, you know, I think if you understand its limitations, it's probably worth considering. you know, I like the idea of an all-in-one device. From a few reviews that I looked at, you know, at least the reviewers who were not on the take said that, you know, it was stable. So that's good. You know, I think I wanted to see more variety in how you can lay out your different overlays. Like it seemed like they were they were constraining you to a lot of things. And, you know, on the Pro, when you're looking at, you know, $1,300, you could get yourself probably for less than that, you know, a GPU-powered gaming laptop that you could install vMix or OBS on, and you'd be able to do a little more. So that was kind of my concern with that one. This one is far more limited, but it does cost a lot less. It's like half the price of the other one. And I got to go find my Yolobox password because I forgot what it was. Let me go check my email here. Let's take a look. Yolobox. See if I have my password in here. Doesn't look like I do. Oh, here we go. Yolobox live stream. No, that's my Amazon thing. What is my password? I forget. I'll just fill it out here. But this is Android, but it is a single-purpose Android device here. That's what this is about. So let me type in what I think my password is, and we'll move on here. Lon at and I have absolutely no idea what I use for a password. Let me see. Forgot password. Oops. And I'll just send it to my address here. Yeah, so this won't like have you log into Google or anything. So it's kind of funny because it reminds me of an Android phone, but it is not an Android phone at all. It is specifically designed for production. And Roam uses the NinjaCast now. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I used to be all about the hardware. And then I got vMix. And I have to say, like, vMix, for me, if you have a computer with a GPU, vMix is remarkably good. All right, I'm going to do a new password here, which I will then forget for the next time I look at one of these things. I have all three of these here. All right, so let's see what we've got going on here. Okay, so now I got to just type in my password once again here. All right, so let's pop in. I might do like an encompassing review of all of them. And then this one is, this was a pre-release one. I wanted to wait until it was out. So it is going to do a quick firmware update, and then we can continue onward here. But these things seem pretty popular. So I'm trying to figure it out as far as like what's the, where does this fit in this marketplace? The Pro to me didn't seem to be, I didn't feel like the price was justified, if that makes sense. I liked it, but. All right, let's go. Arif Hassan is here. Hello there. One of these days I'll get an Atari VCS. Patrick Chang is here. Tech Time with Eric, thank you for the super chat. Gets the keys to his new house. Congratulations. Yeah, getting a house in this market is important. Actually, very difficult. In my town, there's nothing for sale. Everything is on contract. And Rome has an M1 MacBook. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm a Mac guy except for live production. So I use vMix on a PC. So I do have like my live production stuff is all PC, and then the Mac is all the editing stuff. In fact, I've got my M1 Pro right here, my Pro 14. I'm looking at the Amazon chat in case any of you are wondering. And Rome says, I've watched so many other streamers talk about the Yolobox, but none of them actually using it in their live stream. That's interesting. Yeah, that's the thing. Like let once I get this thing set up and I have time, maybe I'll let it just stream for like an hour or two and just see how it handles that from a stability standpoint. You know, if you think about it, streaming is not as difficult as it used to be because it's got a Snapdragon chip on board. It can do the hardware transcoding to a 1080p 30 output. It's not a lot of bit rate that you're pushing out, 5 or 6 megabits per second tops in most cases. So, it's not a very strenuous activity. But for me, like, I've got to figure out, like, I think here's my thing with these, especially with the Pro, is that I feel like if they loosened up the software and allowed you to kind of set things up the way you want, I would have a much better opinion of it. I just felt like you've got like these 4 things that you can do with it, so I'm going to come back to it though, because I did send them a bunch of suggestions. And Rome says, I am live 2 times a day here, so have to be dependable. Yeah, that's what I like about vMix. vMix has been, for me, completely stable. I run it on a PC that I built. I have 4 inputs that go in with a Blackmagic card, and then I can add as many as the system can handle. So right now I've got 3 inputs, all 1080p. So I've got this one, and this one. And I'm streaming live. I can record. I have the ability to add NDI video. I can layer in a whole bunch of stuff. I did a video on vMix on YouTube you may want to check out. And right now, this is like my bare minimum kind of load right now. With these 3 sources, the live streaming, I can do my live overlays here from my friend Eric here. All that stuff, it's not even 5–10% of my system resources. So I still have like a lot of room to do more. I have this system, even when I've had like 8 things coming into it, I've maybe cracked like 20% system utilization. It's crazy. And on my laptop, I mean, I ran the channel off of a gaming laptop for a few weeks. So if you got an NVIDIA GPU, even the lower end one, vMix is great. It's super stable. I've been just amazed by how stable it is. It just works. Of course, like today will be the day it doesn't, right? Patrick says, yeah, you can't buy a house or a GPU at a decent price. Although, I think we're going to start seeing that change. I was reading something the other day about GPU prices starting to come down. So we might be getting close to that. Rome on the Amazon chat says, I have 4 HDMI into the NinjaCast into Streamlabs OBS. Okay, so he's using OBS now. And it has a pop-up chat on the stream. Yeah, I would look at, for portability, vMix on a gaming laptop is great. I'm a production nerd, so I just love what I can do with vMix, and just the fact that it doesn't like use any system resources for half the stuff that I do is crazy. Mark Smith says, haven't you tested one of these? Yes, we looked at the Pro edition of this. So right now we're looking at the entry-level model. And I think I'll probably do like an all-inclusive overview of these things. And Patrick makes a good point as well. This is designed for mobile applications when you're out and about. It does have a 4G radio on board. So you could pop a SIM card in it and do that for sure. I should get my Starlink reactivated and stream with that. William Wilkinson is here. Nethead is congratulating Eric. Oh, only 5% over. Yeah, right now where I am, it's like 20% over. It's crazy, crazy. Nobody wants to build anything either. Like there's land available all over the place where I live, and nobody wants to buy a lot. Everybody just wants a house and they want to move in. Yep, that's it. And Slothpack says, how many of us are watching Lon update a cheap Android device? Actually, this is not such a cheap Android device. This thing is $700, believe it or not. But it's got, it's got some juice inside. It's got the, you got the ability to record video, bring it in, all that kind of stuff. All right, so we are at the home screen here. And what I am going to do, first of all, is make sure that these guys didn't set this thing up already for something else. Okay, so that's not set up. I just want to make sure that, okay, perfect, that they didn't have anything set up so I don't screw up their accounts. Okay, so system update. I think we are, it's a patch for the HDMI. Let's get that updated. No patch to be upgraded. Okay, I guess we're good then. All right, so we are all updated. And, okay, so we've got to put the SD card in later too. All right, so now I'm going to make a new production. Now this device has only 2 inputs. So it has a monitor mode where it will work just as a monitor. And then it also has a mode in which you can do some other stuff. So why don't we take the switch out here? Let's power the sucker up and see what we can accomplish here in the hour or so that I have. It's all peace and quiet until my wife and kids get home, and then it's, you know, craziness. All right, let me do this. Let's plug in my camcorder first. So I've got my camcorder, and there are inputs here on the back. So I'm going to go HDMI in, plug it right in there, and let's see what we get. There we go. So I've got my camcorder's image, and it looks like it's just straight up monitor mode. Now, can I add a overlay? Oh, it's an SD card, so I got to put an SD card in here too. So we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so it's got some options here. I guess you can customize these and kind of load them in. So this is monitor mode, and then I'll set up the output also. So we'll make a new live stream here. Let me see what they have loaded in here. This live stream has been finished. So let's make a new live stream. Let's call this test. Oops. Test. All right, so I'm going to open this up. All right, so I've got an image. Now, it looks a bit squished to me. I don't know. All right, so let's get my HDMI hooked up. So what this also has is an output. So you can output what is going into it. And I have an HDMI cable here from last time that I'm going to plug in to my vMix system. So let's connect that sucker in here. There we go. Oops, I just turned it off. Shoot. Sorry. Looks like it came back up. Okay. So now I have that installed, and the next thing I want to do, I got the camera running so you can see what it sees. And I also have a little webcam. This is kind of a neat camera. This is I can get it in there in a second. This is the Huddle Cam. And this is a really versatile little camera. This is oops, there it is. This is a 4K camera. It works as a webcam, but it also has an HDMI output. And both work at the same time. So what it allows you to do is bring this Yolobox thing allows you to bring in webcams. Now on the other one, I don't think it worked on the other one. So let's see if it works on this one. If not, I'll get my Logitech camera out, which is super basic, but should do the trick. Okay, so now if we get everything going here. So it looks like my image is a bit squished on this thing, so I got to figure it out. And we'll figure it out, get it going there. And Rome says, I was thinking the Yolobox would be good for my client projects on location. Yeah, I think they would be. Like I said, I haven't really done enough with it to know how stable it's going to be. It hasn't, you know, we were playing around with it for a good couple hours last time, and it didn't crash at all. So I think the stability seems to be there. Okay, so we have that's the HDMI audio controls. The only thing I'm concerned about is that it is compressing the image here. See how I'm like, everything's squished in. All right, so we're at 1080p. Make sure we have, and it looks like they're setting up a multi-streaming service through YOLO Live, so they're going to have a service layer. It looks like they do a lot of firmware updates. And Rome, thank you very much for the the prompt on follow and ask questions in the chat. I appreciate you helping me out with that. Thank you. All right, so this is our setup for the streaming. This one is a little different than the other one because it's not as apparent to me as where I can switch my inputs, because we do have now 2 inputs. Although it looks like the camera just turned itself off, this one. All right, so let's go over to the gear. So yeah, that's that. I never read the instructions, by the way. That's part of my problem. I mean, it's definitely apparent that a lot of TLC goes into this device because they have a lot. Okay, here's image overlays. Let's try this. Insert SD card. So everything's about the SD card. All right, now I'm stuck in this menu. Okay, we're out of there. Yeah, so it's not clear how we switch cameras on this thing. So that's the scoreboard, so I can overlay a scoreboard here. I can move this around. And the one thing that, okay, program out, does it push the video out? Does not appear to be doing that either, because we have HDMI out is here. Let me recycle the HDMI and see if that. Okay, so I reinserted the HDMI. I'm not getting anything on the output here either, so. Roman says this one is on the 1.6 firmware. Yes, I think it installed that firmware when we got going here. Yes, I'm getting audio out there, but not. Maybe I got to put an SD card in here to appease it. Let's see. Into monitor mode. I'm just curious here if exactly what triggers the program output. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on my system here. The camera's coming in, but again, it's squishing the image. That's audio control. This is your layers, image overlays, and then here it wants the SD card inserted for images, which I will get to. We may have to look up some instructions on this one. Let me go back out here and start again, just to double check the firmware update on it. So, oh, it says version upgrade. Let's see, this might be why. You are currently on the latest version, which is Yolobox Mini 0.10. So according to it, we are completely up to date. It's got a little web browser built in. So let me go look up the Yolobox Mini. This one is actually very different than the Pro one feels, because the Pro one kind of gives you all those controls. This one feels much more limiting. So let's go over to Yolobox Mini. And I'm not sure if this one will do, yeah, it's got one HDMI input. It's got the USB-C. And the Pro just recently got the ability to output as a webcam. That was a new firmware update that just got pushed down. That's why I haven't reviewed it yet, because they keep updating it. So I want my review to be comprehensive based on like most of the features getting locked in. So I wonder here if I disconnect. So first of all, I'm not getting the program output. So we're going to have to figure that out. So if I go back to, so monitor mode is basically the same as the live stream, except that it's not going to stream live. It's just there to kind of give you an idea as to how everything works. But if I go to program out, it's not, you'll see it, it should be lighting up in this box right here. So I'm getting audio out of it, kind of jumping, but I'm not actually getting an image. Let's pull it out and pull it back in again here. and we are outputting at 1080p, and I do have program out enabled. And what concerns me is that the image is appearing squished on here. You'll see it when we get something out of it. All right, so we'll figure this out. Martin Paolini is here. Hello there. Recipe Bob is here. David Langley is here. It's got no 5G. No, it's just 4G on this one. And MG First says, this is kind of like an ATEM Mini with a screen. Yeah, I think their Pro one is probably more comparable to the ATEM. This one they're kind of selling as a monitor with streaming capacity built in. So what I might do is I might just point it at my extras channel and see if what we can get out of it. Because right now when I activate the program out, I'm getting audio kind of breaking up, but I'm not getting a signal. So I'm going to check my Blackmagic video setup here and see, because it'll tell me what is coming in over that. Yeah, so it's not getting any video right now. So I'm going to try to figure that part out. But what I can do, so I can put in like overlays and stuff. So we can do like a lower third here. And I'll just leave it as the default. And then I guess what you can do, once you have it set up, is it'll roll that in. So it doesn't appear as though you can swap inputs on this like you can on the other one. So this is going to be kind of more like that Teradek thing we looked at recently. So let's pull this out. So this is my HDMI input. So I'm going to pull that camera out. And I want to see if it's going to switch over to the USB camera. So let me unplug this and plug it back in. And I am going to pull down the instructions here too to see what we can. Because it does work with a webcam. But this camera is a little beefier than your average webcam, so it does work. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got that. But yeah, the program out does not appear to be cooperating. But what I might do is plug this into my other ingest device here and see if that might fare better. So let me get that booted up here real quick. So it looks like this will not live switch between the USB and the HDMI input. So the Pro version would let you do that. This one feels like it's one or the other. And was that that's the out, yeah, okay. So we've got the output there. And I am going to add my NDI source here. Let's see if it gives us anything. Okay, so it does work. Okay, so it looks like it just didn't like my vMix thing. So here is the program out, I believe. Oh, it's not this. Okay, this is doing a mirror. So if I hit program out, it gets rid of that stuff. So it does give you a clean output, but it doesn't let you switch between its two inputs. So right now this is coming in as a webcam. So you can actually, to some degree, this is kind of handy because if you only have a webcam out in the field, you can plug the webcam into this and then get that going. And then if I'll give you an overhead view here. So if let's try this. I'm going to give you a little virtual set here so you can see both things happening at once. So let's go and do a 2-up multi-view. Okay, so let's do this real quick. And this is, now what you're about to see is on vMix. So the top left will be input 10, and then the bottom right is going to be input 3. So you can see me activating stuff. Actually, what I'm going to reverse this so you can get the full picture. So let's go top left will be 3, and this way you can get the full picture. Oops, shoot. 3, and top right is that. Okay. Now again, this is through vMix. So what you're seeing on screen right now is vMix, but what, oops, I hit the power button again. That power button is really, I don't like a button that turns things off that easily. Let me make a note of that for them. So yeah, I think what I'm working towards here is I'm probably going to be doing a video of this product line is where I'm kind of leaning at this point, because there is one that costs $100 more than this one that allows you to live switch between them, and then they've got the Pro, which takes in 3 inputs essentially, which we covered in the prior video. Yolobox Mini. Okay, so power button. It's on a hair trigger. Okay. Does it live switch between HDMI and USB? All right, so what we've got now is an HDMI output and a USB camera input. And because I turned it off, it forgot the program out setting here. This was one of my knocks against the other one, is that it didn't remember things when you went from one to the other. Now I've got this lower third here, so you saw how that came up. So that's pretty clean. And then I can add another one. I'm going to put this down here. And then you could add different templates by putting in an SD card. Let me put we'll do my name here. All right, and then we'll plug in the switch and see. So I was hoping I could do like the switch and kind of do an overlay, but I don't think that's possible. And I can change the font also, and change the colors too. So I could make this like dark green. Make it purple, why not? There we go. All right, hit done. It'll scale it too, okay. All right, so we'll go there. So then while I'm on, what you do is you hit the thing here and just boop, and you get that. Pretty cool. It looks like, just like the other one, that it's dropping frames a little bit. Like it's not totally smooth, but it could just be the USB interface, so we'll have to play around with that a little bit more. So this is the live view coming out of it. There is a frame delay, but if I had audio going out of this camera, it would go in fine. All right, so I'm going to plug the camcorder in now. Let's see what happens when I do that. So we've got the USB camera plugged in. We're going to plug in the HDMI here for the camera. Oops, I just lost a cable. I'm not sure which cable I lost there. Okay, so now we got the camera plugged in. So it's not clear to me if we can switch cameras live, because now I've got 2 inputs going in. So let me back out of here, and we'll go back to the screen. So let's go. I'm just going to check one other thing here. All right, so let's go back to this one. So now it brought in the camcorder. And this is the scoreboard. So it looks like you get a little bit more in this mode. So I can check out my platforms there for streaming. You can monitor your chat room in here also. And then if I switch to program out, yeah, so check this out. It's like, see what it's doing? It's like squishing the image. So that's what it's getting at from this camcorder. So let me check and see what mode we're in, because we had an issue with the last one in that it would only take a 1080p 60 on the output. And I'll take some of your questions in a minute too, everybody. And this camera's about to die. I got to find the power cord for it too. Yeah, so I'm at 1080p. Let's go over to the HDMI. This is like your standard Canon camcorder. Output terminal HDMI. So that's set properly. And max resolution is 1920 by 1080. All right. Oops. In SDI HDMI scan mode. So I could force it to 1080p, or to 1080i, but I don't want to do that. And the output status right now, well, that's weird. So it's only outputting. Let me unplug this and plug it back in again. Let's see what we get. So it's not detecting a 1080p on the other end, and that's why it's doing this. It's like pushing out 720 by 480, which is a kind of a weird mode. So let me go and force it to 1080i and see what happens. And I got nothing there. Yeah, so this is weird. And now it's not giving me anything. So let me pop this out again, pop it back in. Now it's not giving me anything. So the HDMI out, output status is 720 by 480. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now that is same thing. It's like just doing this 480p thing. And it's very jumpy. So, all right, so you know what I'm going to try then is, yeah, so it's not like sending the proper HDMI output. So that's kind of problematic there. I wonder if there's another firmware update that I just don't have, or I have to force onto this, because it just seems very limiting right now. So let me take a look at their email to me, because it did update itself when I plugged it in. So let's see what we get here. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little problematic here. So let me go on their website and see if there's a firmware update that might work with this. It was funny because before, that camera was set to a 30p output. It didn't like that on the other device. We'll have to see what we get here. So let me go back to, actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's plug the switch in. Let's see how it does with the switch. That's what we're going to do. All right, so I'm going to unplug everything out of this thing. And I need to find one more HDMI cable. We'll plug the switch in and see if that fares any better. I'm just going to steal this cable. So let's hook the switch up here. So we've got, so you all can see what I'm doing. I got my Nintendo Switch. So we're going to plug in the input here. Plug that in there. Okay, so we got the HDMI going out. And we'll go back to our thing here. So the switch is coming in perfectly, so that's good. And I got, again, every time I got to go in here and enable the program out. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, so this looks okay there. And let me grab a controller here. Not sure if this one is paired up with the switch or not. It's not, so we'll hit the switch here. I got the 8-bit Do controller here that we're playing with. I just want to go down to the controller mode here. Controllers and sensors. this thing paired up real quick. Usually it connects relatively quickly. I have it in switch mode, I think. S. I think S is switch. Yeah. Sometimes it's a little problematic to get these controllers paired up. Let's see. Give that a second. All right, so let's go in and look at, there we go. What I'm most curious about here is what it's doing on the output. So I'm going to jump into, oh great, let's just start the software. It's always an update for something, right? So there's definitely, you're not going to use this as your gaming monitor because there's definitely a lag there. But we essentially have 1080p 60 coming in. So, and I'll give you the program out in a minute. So I'll select my favorite character here. And then I'll give you the output here. So, and again, I think it maxes out at 30 frames per second, but it seems to be working okay. Like I said, you're going to want to probably split your output here. And then what I could be doing while this is happening is I could take my overlay here and have that kind of stream in, right? So we could do something like that. But I feel like I think it could just be the result of having to take this 60p stream and downsize it to 30, because I think if I check the output, I think it's max streaming capacity, although it'll take 60. Let me double check that. Let's go back and set up a stream here. I'm missing all sorts of questions, so let me go back and check here. Christopher is also here from Maine, by the way. Matthew Kroc, thank you for the follow on Amazon. Stephen Morris is here. MG First says, aren't all UVCs the same? I thought so, but not all the time. That's something I've run into with this thing. All right, so put it in monitor. I'm just trying to get a feel for all the ins and outs of this. Encoding setting. So constant bit rate. Can I go to 60? Oh, I can go to 60. Okay. All right, good. So let's try that now. So this should be a 1-to-1. So we shouldn't see. Now look at the display here. We shouldn't see it varying all that much. This actually doesn't look bad. Looking at the screen here. I have another game that might be better for me to look at because it is. You know, let's do one that I know runs at like a nice 60. We'll do this one. Yeah, so from a monitor standpoint, you know, there will be lag between, because it is processing the image even if you're just in monitor mode. And like I said, what this annoyed me about the other one is that it doesn't remember the settings when you jump out. So every time you got to enable that program out to get that to work. But you'll see here as we can just drop that in. Overlays on top here. And because we are only streaming this stream out at 30, I'm going to look at the monitor here and tell you if it feels like a solid 60 or if we're dropping frames. Unfortunately, it's hard to measure frame drops due to the nature of how this captures. But let's see. I mean, it looks good. It feels like a solid 60. A little bit of, like I said, a little bit of lag because it's processing the image as it goes in. But it will not do a picture-in-picture as far as bringing in another video source. So even though I've got, the ability to plug in a webcam, I can't overlay that, which is interesting because this they say actually has the same processor as their Pro Edition, which can do that. So that is interesting. Yeah, I think I'm going to probably do like a line review of this one just to show people what the differences are. This is really a one camera device. It will stream for you. So it will do the encoding and stream out. And I'll test that. And actually, that might be worth doing. Maybe we should stream this to my extras channel. I got a few minutes here. So maybe I'll set that up real quick just to see how it works. Norman Tucker is here. Hello there. And Mark Smith said the home library closed today, so you're in Savage, Maryland today. And Arnold says this is purely a streaming box. This is a streaming monitor. So you can have the webcam or the HDMI, but not both. Now, here's what's interesting is that this one is $6.99. The one that takes multiple sources is $7.99. And then there's the Pro for $1,200 and something. So we will take a look at that. And Chris says that Aaron Parecki is the Yolobox master. So I will definitely check out his videos. Yeah, you know what it is? I'm trying to, here's what I'm trying to figure out. Because what I'm looking for here is like if somebody says to me, like, what's a good streaming device? Here's another issue, by the way. The fan is on the bottom. And there's not a lot of clearance here. So if someone says to me, like, hey, I'm looking to do live streaming, what should I get? I have some go-tos right now that I know work really well. So that's kind of what I've been struggling with on these YOLO devices. Because for $1,300, which is the Pro's cost, you can get a decent gaming laptop and do a vMix thing, which would give you a lot more flexibility. At the lower end for a recording monitor, this may not be bad if that's what the intention is. And this would compare to the Teradek device that we looked at recently, which was a nice device. Let me take a look and see, because the Teradek device is called the VidiU, or the Teradek Wave is what we just looked at. And that one is 12. So the Teradek Wave, which has the similar functionality to this, is like $1,200. This is like half of what you would pay with the similar ability to output. So what I think I'm going to try next here is to have this fire off some stuff to my extras channel and see how that might function. So I'm going to try that real quick. I'm just reluctant to put in my YouTube credentials on this thing. So I think I might just do a stream now to that one. And let's go into YouTube. Yeah, so I've got to go through like the whole YouTube credentialing thing. And it's so funny because it does feel like it's an Android device at its heart, right? So let's go in there real quick. The good news is that it does seem to be a little more accepting of different types of power inputs, because the other one was a little problematic. All right. Yes, the Switch does have a great remaster of that game, doesn't it? Yeah, so that's I think if this was, that's what I think the trouble is that you get, for $100 more, you get a lot more functionality with the other one, right? So that's what I've been kind of trying to figure out here. And Win32, yeah, this is kind of like, this was like one of the spiritual successors to that, if you will. It was the first that really used the polygonal graphics. So I'm just debating what YouTube channel I should log into. I just hate giving my credentials to things, so I think I'm going to just do an RTMP and just type it in. So let me do that. Oh, cool. Please enter the server. Okay. Oh, cool. Oh, so that's great. This is actually a nice feature. So check this out. Rather than have to type it in on screen, they give you a link to put in your credentials that way. That is really nice. So that's cool. So let's go pop in there. Yeah, so it didn't like my camcorder. But let me go into my live thing. So if you go to Lon.TV/extras, we're going to stream to the extras channel shortly and see how well it handles that. And so I'm going to get my link here from them. Sorry, I'm a little scattered today. I was working on, I'm running out of stuff to review. And I got one of these Android boxes in that I bought. It was an Anchor one from Nebula, and it was a total bomb. So I'm not even going to bother with it. So that was going to be today's project, and it turned out to be a non-starter. But now that I have a feel for this thing being kind of more of a monitor device, I think I'm a little more comfortable understanding it now. Just the question for consumers is, if you spend an extra $100, you get a lot more functionality, right? Okay, so the stream key, I'm going to put that in there, and then I've got my YouTube thing here. Oops. Okay, put that there. And so I'm going to click send, and what's going to happen now is it's going to route this stream data back to this thing. So it says it was successful on my screen. And so I don't know if this updates automatically or if it requires me to jump back in. Let's see. No, so it didn't get the data. So I typed it in and it said successful, but it is not yet receiving that. Now, the one thing I liked about the Teradek device is that they would allow you to do, and it's kind of like connecting into their service layer. And what it let you do was stream to a multiplexer. So you could have, if you had like two things that were on the internet separately, it would split the outgoing video between the two. It gets reassembled at their server and pushes it back out. So you have a little bit more flexibility there. So I have my screen here saying that it was successful, but it's still stuck on this screen. So let me send the link again. Please check the email. Okay, so let me try it again. So it sent me another one here. So let's click on this thing. Unless maybe it puts it in a different spot, I'm not sure. So stream key is this, and the stream URL is that. And send. Okay. Oh, I already sent this address. Don't do it again. Okay, so where is it? I wonder if I have to reboot. Let's go out and back in. Maybe it has to like download. Create a live stream. Test 2. Create. Okay. So why don't we, there it is. Okay, it's good. Okay, so we're going to stream this to the extras channel. Let me get that set up. And make sure that we're on unlisted. Yep, so I'll make this public so you all can see it. And then I'll just make it unlisted afterward. Okay, so we'll go over to details, go public, and we'll say test output from the Yolobox Mini. And save. Okay. All right, so I'm going to enable this. And if you go to Lon.TV/extras, you should be able to see it. So let's connect. Actually, I want to check my stream settings first to make sure. So streaming mode, we're going to go direct single platform. Encoding setting. So I'm going to send the highest quality I can. So we're going to go 8 megabits per second at 60 frames per second at a constant bit rate, which is what they recommend. And for good measure, I'm going to throw out the program out too, just to kind of stress the system here a little bit. All right, so we're good there. And now that that's set up, I'm going to enable the extras channel here. All right, it's ready. And I'm going to click Go Live. And again, Lon.TV/extras, and you should be able to see it. Are you ready to start live streaming? I am ready. Okay, so now I'm getting a feed. And again, Lon.TV/extras, and you can watch it yourself. And this is a 1080p 60, and we are pushing 8 megabits per second upstream. And I have 3 gigabits of total bandwidth, everybody, so you are going to be totally fine. So let me go Lon.TV/extras, and I'm going to watch this here at full resolution. You know, it looks, oh, there it goes, okay. I think it looks pretty good. I'd love to get what you all think of this. So Lon.TV/extras, head over there and watch the live stream and tell me what you think. Let me see if I'm getting any audio out of it. I don't hear anything. So let me go. Yeah, I'm not getting any audio. So let me figure out the audio outputs. So here's the sound. There it goes. Oop. Oh, you know what? There's no sound in the game yet. It wants me to start a game, so let's do a quick start to the game here. And what's funny is that it's going to be behind because, there it goes, yeah. And I'll turn the audio off, so we are getting audio. All right, so I'm going to play it off the screen here and see how that does. And I'm not going to play very well because this is there's a little bit of lag on the display itself. I mean, it's going to be fine for live production if you have a camera hooked up to it or a video switcher. So this is something that you might use in conjunction with a ATEM mini switcher, right? Because this could be your program out and your streaming device. And so this is the maximum that it can do. This is 1080p 60. And the frame rate looks okay to me. I don't know about you all. But I'll let this play out a little bit here, and then we'll go back to the other screen. And there is an audio mixer, so I could bring in more audio simultaneously, but only one video thing at a time. Yeah, I'm purposely not driving very well because I'm looking at 3 different things as I'm going here. So again, Lon.TV/extras, and you can see the output of this. And the fan doesn't appear to be running any faster. And Martin says the frame rate looks excellent, a little tiny bit of compression artifacting, but very difficult to notice. Yeah, and this is the highest quality it will do. So this is 8 megabits per second. And Martin says the frame rate looks good. And yeah, I still have, I could do like 100 more of these streams right now. I could send up like 4K if I wanted to, right? There's no limits. So yeah, I mean, I think it looks okay, right? I think a few more questions here. Oh yeah, let's do the title. That's a good suggestion. So we're going to pull the title up as we stream here. So let me pull this title off, and I'll pull the title up on screen. So we'll let that fade in, and then I can, the delay is such that I can check it out on the screen. Yeah, so you see like a little artifacting around some of the finer details, a little more than I would expect, and I wonder if there are some settings I can adjust for that. And it could just be the limitations of the bit rate. I don't typically stream at 60 frames per second. And in most cases, I think you would likely be outputting, you know, a switcher or something like that from this thing. So you would probably get a little bit, you would be using a camera as opposed to something else. Live production tips and tools says it looks very good. So it looks like I'm getting some good feedback. I got 13 of you watching. And Arif Hassan never disappoints with the Atari VCS. I'd love to hear something else. Something else. I don't know if you have like if you have anything else to say. I love when you say Atari VCS though, because that's how I remember you. All right, so let's go and take a look at some of the other comments here. MG for yeah, I think I might do that at some point. I found though that people don't like to watch those doesn't make the cut kind of things. Yeah, so I think with this one, this is where you would be putting in, you know, an external switcher and then running it through this. So this is like, this one is, you know, is going to be the portable monitor switcher kind of thing. And there's a little latency with it, but not much. So let me try a different game. There's another game that I have on here called, I forgot the name of it. It's like, here it is. This is a launch title. It's called Fast RMX. And this one is like super fast. So this will be a good test also of kind of like a 60 FPS kind of thing. And I'm also getting, let's try something else here too. And I'm actually going to record some B-roll while we do this because, oh, you know what? I'm not going to see that here. The newest 100 comments will be displayed. Comments will not be available if you post the timeline with just friends mode. Rather, please select public. So I wonder if I can get the, oh, I bet I can't get the comments in because I didn't connect my account. What it will do is it will put the comment feed up here. And so if I had this attached to my YouTube account, which I don't at the moment, it would put up kind of what I'm doing on vMix, where I could run these comments. And you have a template for those. So those you can actually overlay. I may play around with that later. All right, so let's connect up this game. This game runs a lot faster. So this might be fun for some of you watching to see how that does. Let's do time attack. Hypersonic. We'll go super fast. I guess I can't do that mode yet. We'll do subsonic, I guess. Shows you how much I've played this game. And I could also record simultaneously. You know what I might do? Let me go grab my an SD card and just pop it in here because I would love to see if it can. I think it can record simultaneously. So let me just grab an SD card and pop it in real quick. Now, I'm not sure how much room I have on this card. If not, I can open up a new one. So let's pop that in. Oops. Okay, so we got that popped in. And it says no SD card, even though we just put an SD card in. You know, we had a problem, I think, with the other one where it was not recognizing these SD-XC cards. Could that be the issue here? You know, let me get a fresh card. And maybe you can't put it in the middle of it. Because I did buy some cards. Remember, I was going to go to CES, and then I got the virus, so I couldn't go. But Jake went, but he had some of my other cards. But here's a brand new one. We'll put this in real quick and see how this does. Fresh out of the package. So let's see if it'll recognize the brand new card. Completely brand new. Look how shiny it is. We'll stick that in there. Okay. All right, brand new SD card. Popped it in. Okay, you have 120 gigabyte free on this SD card. Due to system restrictions, your recording will be saved as a new clip every time it hits 3.5 gigabytes. That's a weird message. Okay, so I'm going to record while we stream. So I'm curious to see if the recording quality is better than the streaming version. And I am not looking at the screen right now. Once again. You know what's funny? This game looks a little better on the stream, at least from what I'm seeing, because it's got a softer motion blur to it, so it kind of covers up some of those artifacts, right? So I might go back to the other one just because the artifacts were much more noticeable on that one. Actually, I'm seeing them here too. And we're at the maximum output on this. So right now, it actually gives me a real-time indicator of the data, the bit rate. So it's about 7.9 megabits per second here. And I am terrible at this game, as you can see. You don't have a little cloud guide, though, that picks you up like it does on the other one. But it's stable. I mean, it has not dropped a single frame. We've been running for... It doesn't give me a running time on the stream itself. But we've been going for, according to this, let me check my other screen here. So we've been going 10 minutes and no issues. You definitely see some artifacts there, but again, that could just be YouTube, right? So we'll see what the recording looks like. Typically what these things do is they grab the encoded stream and just write it to the SD card. So that's what we're seeing here. So I'll switch back to that virtual eraser game and see what happens there. Live Productions wants to know, does it ever overheat? That we will find out. The fan is running at the same rate it was before. And I have a feeling that the encoder is probably running irrespective of whether or not you are streaming. So I would just keep, when I had it flat on the desk, I was a little worried that it might not have as much airflow. So I have it kind of propped up inside its little container here. So that seems to be working better. But you know what? Now that I understand the context of this a little more, that this is really a streaming monitor, I think it's not all that unreasonable from a price perspective. This is production world, so everything in production world costs more than you think it should. All right, cool. So let's jump back to Virtual Eraser now, because this is where we saw the... And I love doing video games for this kind of stuff, because this is where you're going to see the most motion, right? We'll see how many copyright claims I get on this from. And Warwick is here from Sydney, Australia, the other side of the world. Hello there. Yeah, it's weird because these cards are exFAT formatted, so you would think that it's like a file system restriction, right? So I'm not sure what's going on there. So Roman's going to order the Pro to test on his live. Yeah, give it a shot. See what happens. You might want to reach out to them, though, Rome, if you do a lot of these things, because they've been eager to get these units out there. They might let you borrow one, like they'd let me borrow one. All right, so we're going to go just do another one of these things here. I'm still recording. So I'm recording and streaming simultaneously here. And we'll see how this does. And again, you can go to Lon.TV/extras and watch the stream that I am currently outputting, which I am doing right now as well. And what I'm doing here, even though we just did this a minute ago, is I am looking on the recording to see if the recording has some of the artifacting that I'm seeing on the stream. So I just want to get a feel for what the maximum visual quality is. What's great about these video games is that they max out the stream. So we're running at a full 8 megabits per second here upstream. In fact, I'm streaming out of this thing at a higher bit rate than I am on my other stream. So if I look at I'm actually curious, how much bandwidth am I consuming right now? Let me go look at my router here. So I am, at the moment, see, I get so distracted so easily. So rarely do I actually push this connection the way I'm pushing it now. So of course, when I'm uploading my videos, we max it out, right? But this might be actually a quick review I could do. Yeah, so right now I'm pushing 20 megabits, give or take, upstream between. So I'm streaming to Amazon and YouTube on my vMix system, and then we're also streaming to YouTube out of this. So I'm pushing about 20 megabits upstream simultaneously here. And I still have over 2.9 gigabits of bandwidth left. I will never find the end of this connection. It's crazy. Hey, wow, we got somebody from Cape Verde, West Africa. Welcome. Yeah, I don't usually drive like this, just so you all know. I'm a very cautious driver. All right, so that's good. So let's stop the recording. So I'm going to hit this. And I am also going to end the live stream. So let's see how that ends. So I'm going to hit the stop button. Do you want to pause the stream or end it? So I'm going to say end it. And it was solid the whole time. So we did about 12 minutes or so. And it was maintaining that connection. No drop frames or anything. And Rome, you are right. A lot of times I end up buying stuff too because all the back and forth that you go through, it takes forever to get stuff in. I am with you on that. All right, so I got a recording now, which is 330 megabytes. And remember too, when you're doing a recording, you're recording the bit rate of the stream itself. So these are not going to be huge files here. And I'm going to end the stream because we stopped the data there. Okay, so now I'm going to end that. And what I am going to do now is I'm going to get this file into my vMix system so we can see if there is any artifacting there. So I need to figure out a way to eject this card. And the fan just turned off on it because I'm out of the video mode here. So is there a way, I guess I can just pop it out, right? Let's pop it out, see what happens. Yeah, it didn't complain at all. So, oh, I forgot, I have a card reader. My Mac has a card reader. I forgot. I got that Mac Pro. It's got a card reader. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to open this card up. And I'm going to look at this on my screen, and I'll tell you if I'm seeing the artifacts that we saw on YouTube. It definitely looks cleaner. There's a little bit of fuzziness still as I'm watching this. I'll put it up on the screen. The problem is that you're not going to be able to discern it because I'm streaming to you. So, I'm looking at like the quality of the recording that I have here. Yeah, so there's definitely some artifacting here, pretty similar to what you were seeing on the live stream. So what you saw on YouTube is pretty close to what I'm seeing here. And this is in the recommended mode, which is a constant bit rate. So at this frame rate, the quality of the encoder isn't spectacular if you're a gamer. I think for video, it's going to be fine, for doing camera work and stuff. And I'll probably upload this file or make it available somewhere for people to grab. So, yeah, but I think we got a pretty good handle on this thing. I think I may just do this one on its own. Because I think they're going to have some issues, not convincing people, but letting people know the differences between, this one and the other one that costs $100 more. So the next one up has a broader feature set. So the regular YOLO, let me go just take this video off my public feed here. Live. make this one unlisted. Okay, so we have that. So I can show that on the video. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so my friend Red Techie, who's on the other side of town, he's got one of these connections too. So the two of us, I'm going to guess that Red Techie, you and I are the only two with this connection residentially, I think, in town, right? Or maybe there's somebody, maybe one other person. But between the two of us, we've got a lot of bandwidth. He's around the corner. So what's crazy is that if I wanted a file from him that was large, he could probably send it to me faster than he could drive around the corner to bring it to me in person, which is not usually the case, right? So it's wild. It is wild. Yeah, so I think I got a good handle on this thing. So it is 5:17. The children will be home soon. So I think I'm going to put some notes together and start working on my video and figure that out. Rome mentions that on the NinjaCast, you can record in ProRes while you stream. Wow. Well, that'll give you a nice lossless image there. Supasim says, nice to see I fixed the charging issue. Well, you know what? This is actually a different device. So what we looked at last time was the Pro, and that one was much more limited in the power input that it could take. This one supports USB-C power delivery. So I have my Mac power supply plugged right into it, no problem. So that is working fine. So this one's a little more flexible on that. Noah wants to know, was it recognized as a webcam on your computer? No, so this one does not do that. The Pro now does. So the last time we looked at one of these YOLO Live devices, the Pro was not yet able to do that. Now it can do a webcam output. This is pretty much a streaming monitor. So now I got a real handle now on how this works here. But yeah, this seems to work. And it looks like they've got like some kind of streaming service, a multi-streaming service. I don't know if it's active yet or not. Let's take a look. I'm not sure if they have their service layer up yet or not. But it's kind of neat because it does layer in a few features that you could make use of, in the sense that if you were doing single camera, you can put some graphics up. In fact, we saw an option here for a scoreboard. So if I go over to layers, this one, I can put a scoreboard display on. I'll show you this on the output in a second. I can put the time up, so you can actually reset time. So you'd have to be able to like jump on it the second it comes up here, but I'm going to pull it up here. And I'll give you a view of it separately in a second. So it has some of the features of the other device here. And right now the score is there, so I can hit check. There we go. So here I'll pull up. Yeah, my only gripe is that you have to. It doesn't remember any settings from one stream to the next, so you've got to go back in and continually update it. I know the Pro, they were updating to remember this stuff. I sent them a long laundry list of, because like I said, I see some real value to this, so I didn't feel like it was ready for me to review it yet. But you can see how we've got the scoreboard on there, so I'm hitting the scores. So team 1 has got 2, 3, 4, right? Team 2 here is winning. I can put a timer on there, so you can see right now it's at 0. And if I click on the timer, please open countdown first. All right, so here's countdown. Countdown on. And we're going to set it for 5 minutes. Done. Hit play. It's a little cumbersome because you got to go in here and do all this stuff. But if you can get the time right, as you can see, we've got a timer here counting down, right? Pretty cool. And then you can jump back into that scoreboard and you can turn it on and off. Although when you turn it off, it forgets the time. So it looks like it has to stay on all the time. So, you know, a couple little issues with that. And an issue with my camcorder there not working properly, but I will email them about that. So I might take out the ATEM Mini Studio to kind of show the workflow with this thing. All right, so scoreboard feature, comments. So in some ways, and it was interesting because they really are targeting the ATEM Mini with the other ones. In some ways, this might be a nice companion to an ATEM Mini because the one thing the ATEM Mini is really difficult to set up with, especially for volunteers, is the overlay. So if you to be able to do that versus all the other crap you got to do on the ATEM, I think there's probably an argument for some value to that. And definitely a good companion for single camera, right? So I think there's some value there. And you get a workable recording out of it too. So we were able to stream and record. Again, the quality of the encoder, probably not great for 60 FPS, but but functional. Yeah. All right. And Ed says, WoW upgraded him to 200 megabits per second. Never seen anything higher than 104 and 18 up. I will say I'm getting every inch of what they offer on this connection. It's remarkably good. It is really, really good. And Eric is stuck where I was with 10 megabits upstream. I'll tell you what, we are seeing right now in my state a ton of new options. So Starlink is massively expanding their reach. So that's been really good around here. Verizon and T-Mobile, if you have a good connection to or a good spot to your tower, have at-home 5G unlimited. I think Red Techie just signed up for that. And then our phone company is running fiber, although it's mixed as to where you're going to get that. And then we've got Comcast. So we went from having no choices to more choices, which is good. In fact, a friend of mine in town just got rid of, he's just running Starlink now full time. He knows he's paying more, but he wants to support choice. So that's how he's going. So Rome, thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun to, it's always fun to explore a new product category, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. I did too. And I have enough now to shoot this tomorrow, which is great. Because I wasn't sure where I was going to go with this, but now I kind of get it. And that's what's great about these streams is that you all help me get it, and it's fun to do these live. So it's good stuff. And Red Techie says the Verizon LTE home internet is pretty good as his new backup. Unlimited data. Yes, right. Oh, you get a public IP also. Wow. So here's what's funny, though, is that although Red Techie is literally around the corner from me, the best that I can get off my Verizon tower is maybe like 1 or 2 megabits per second in either direction. And the reason is that I am like a lot higher up in the air. He's got a great tower like right in line of sight to his house, which I don't have. So I am kind of in a wireless dead zone in the sense that I'm above the best tower. I'm actually higher than the best tower in town, which is why that's doing what it's doing. But yeah, if you're out of range like I am, you're not going to see the benefit. And Red says he's out of, he does not have 5G off of that tower yet. I bet you they'll get it going soon. And then the question would be, do we ever see ultra wideband? I was in Florida this past weekend, and there was a lot of ultra wideband. What was interesting was that the bandwidth was all over the place. So most of the ultra wideband connections I was getting were no better than a regular 5G tower would be, and some were even worse. So I think it's a matter of what kind of fiber they have going into the location that you're at. So that is, I think that's a big part of it. And for those of you curious, we were looking the other day at the radon detector that I got in. So I am at 2.8 for my radon, which is very close to the 3 that I got on my lab tests. And I know Red Techie just got his radon check. So I am on day 3 of 7 of this thing calibrating. So as soon as I get to day 7, I'll do my review of it. But so far, the radon detector here is spot on with what I just got back from the state. And the radon guy was telling me with a 3, he's like, there's not much. If you have I have a system in place right now. He goes, if you got a 3, I'm not going to be able to do much for you. So, you know, with an existing system, maybe he said you might bump up the fan speed or something that might help. But I'll have more on that. And it was actually fun. This is why I like doing these streams, because I got a lot of people who did not know a lot about radon. So that was helpful because I think a big part of that video is going to be talking about radon and what it is. So yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, everybody, I am going to power the YOLO Mini down until tomorrow. And we are going to come back with more in the very near future. And Sword and Keyboard says, you've been following me for a lot of years and I look the same. Thank you. I'm glad that I was looking at one of my older videos the other day and I was like, you know what? I've got a lot more gray hair than I did before. So we'll see what happens. And Red Techie is, yeah, I'll tell you what, up around all over town, we've got some pretty high levels of radon. And it's hit or miss whether or not your house is over it. So you'll find out soon enough. Did you open the test up and do your thing? So we'll see. Yeah, and I spend a good chunk of the day in the basement here, so for sure. What's interesting is that your cancer risk with radon is significantly higher if you also smoke. It actually increases the risk level, not only for the smoking side, but the radon side. And Sword and Keyboard is from Connecticut too. And Red Techie is on day 2 of the test. This is actually good because the guy was telling me that you want to have a mix of weather when you're having that test so you can average out, because apparently when it's raining and denser air, it tends to not dissipate as much. So there you go. Grayson Petty says the stream is almost over. And he watched a live stream from Tom Lawrence talking about IT stuff. I like to talk about IT stuff too, because I got a lot of IT in this house. I'm the only one that knows how to use any of it, but I've got a bunch of it here. All right, hang on a second. My wife is checking in on dinner. Okay, so yep, we've got all sorts of stuff going on here. So I am going to head out here. Sword and Keyboard says certain areas, yeah, so the basement's going to be worse than the other parts of the house. It's all about airflow, really. But the basement will be the worst. And, so they actually suggest doing the basement to get your maximum, but also testing in a living area to see what the levels are there. Because it's a gas that just kind of goes through the floor, through the concrete. So it's crazy stuff. All right, I got to run, but I will be back before you know it. And I want to thank you all for helping me today as I was conducting the test of the Yolobox Mini. And I got an autograph from China on there too. Pretty cool. All right, I will catch you all in the very near future. Oh, by the way, Sword and Keyboard, yeah, on the shoreline, actually, southern Connecticut is the worst. All the counties in southern Connecticut are in high radon areas. And so check with your town hall, because both Red Techie and I got a free test kit from our town hall because the public health people have been sending these tests out to everybody. So you might be able to get a free one to do a quick test. It's not an electronic thing. It's like a little envelope you open up. So, all right, everybody, I will catch you all on the flip side, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.